Guys, welcome. My name is Daddy Alex. You're watching Pop Rageous. It's Saturday night. Pop Rageous live. I just finished. I'm not finished moving. Finished moving. I was supposed to be live on Thursday night for the big show. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I thought I almost got the studio put together, but your entire life is in shambles, right? When you do the full move. First thing I did was, get the studio together, and I still got some problems, right? I still got some lighting issues. It kind of looks the same, but believe me, I went through, we've all moved, right? Right? We've all moved. I guess in my case, when you're moving, you got to move an entire studio, an entire setup. You got to recreate it, put the audio together. But anyway, those are my problems, comrade. Those are my problems. So on Thursday, holy Starfleet Academy. I am without speech. I spoke to like three of my screenwriter friends, and I tell you guys, it is beyond. We are just, as screenwriters, people have written stuff for TV and movies. You're just absolutely blown away at the grade school level writing. But what it is, and we talked about this, and this is, what it's all about. And I'm probably not breaking news to you, especially if you're a Star Trek fan like I am. I mean, I go back 5 decades with Star Trek, right? I mean, I got, 58 years old. I got some, Star Trek is only like 2 years older than I am. But the problem is, and it is so clear in episode 8, guys, the Federation is utterly freaking full-on female. Did you get the alliteration? Utterly freaking full-on female. It's nothing against women. And I absolutely nothing against women. I think women, as part of the as fans, the women, female fans, they go all out, right? The Comic-Cons and everything like that. But I got a chart showing, what is it, 87% of like science and engineering. I think it's even higher than that. It's like 92% or something is male. The science, the STEMs, if you combine it all, I think is 89% male. And I've never had a girlfriend that would watch Star Trek with me, or go see sci-fi movies. And I've had a few. I've been up to bat. I've swung in a few pitches in life. Okay, I've swung. I've swung in a few pitches in the game of life when it comes to the fonder sex or the fairer sex. How do you say that? But if you episode 8, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it, guys. Here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Starfleet Academy. We're talking about Warner Brothers. You know what? I should have put Hail Mary before that, because I got a lot to say. And I worked in Wall Street, right? For 8 years. I was a market maker on the NYSE and NASDAQ, as well as an economic analyst. Assessed mergers and acquisitions and things like that. And look, there's certain things that I maintain about that thing. The Warner Brothers Paramount, which is now the Paramount merger. Netflix was never going to buy it. It would never happen. Not in a million years. And Netflix knew that, especially after congressional hearings. And they took the $2.8 billion and freaking ran. They're happy. They got, can you believe this, guys? This is how Wall Street works. This is can I say bullshit this early in the broadcast? If you've ever worked on Wall Street, or someone who has worked on Wall Street, the BS Who would sign an agreement? Some of this stuff is mind-blowing. If the only way a CEO can get value or a board can get value out of a company is by selling it off, by loading up on shares beforehand, right? Loading up on shares beforehand so that when the sale happens, they make off like freaking bandits. And that's what they did. I don't know how that passes SEC approval. I don't. Because shareholders have every right to contest the fact that Zaslav did this great deal a few months ago, and now it's being sold, and Zaslav's going to walk away with $700 million. Really? $700 million? This is the bullshit. Guys, it's one of the reasons I left Wall Street. One of the reasons. You want to talk BS economic numbers? Come on, guys. If you believe those GDP numbers, the GDP numbers have been stinky for 30 years. Anyway, so Warner Brothers and Paramount. If you think that deal is going through, you're a freaking moron. I told you, Netflix is not going to go through. And Netflix knew it. And I'm telling you right now, David Ellison just blew $10 billion because there's a $7 billion breakup fee for Warner Brothers and Paramount. You think it's going to go through? And it's not, the problem is not, I'll tell you what the problem is when we get to it. I'll tell you how Larry and David Ellison, they've already lost $2.8 billion. They've got a breakup fee, or if it's delayed, a certain amount is 25 cents per share per day on top of the breakup fee. But why is it all going to just come to the big pooper at the end of the day for Paramount? This is the stupidest deal I ever heard. Stupidest deal. Holy cow. I mean, this is not as dumb as Starfleet Academy episode 8. That is the zenith of dumb. Hail Mary. There are some early showings of Hail Mary, and there's been some reviews coming back on that baby. I wanted to touch on that. Ryan Gosling, good for Ryan. You know, Ryan Gosling's a really nice guy, right? He's not one of those. What's the guy that plays Bruce Banner? The Hulk guy. I'm happy that I forgot his name. You know, I am. I mean, if he's that forgettable, then Mark Ruffalo, as freaking woke as they get. You know what, guys? You know what the problem with woke is? You know what the problem with woke is? Because it just feels like crap is being shoved down your mind. Like you're a 5-year-old in kindergarten school and the teacher is like mentally whipping you. Yeah, this is what you're going to believe. This is what it feels like, you know, some sort of like, you know, re-education camp, right? It's like, you know, it's like the, and from a screenwriting perspective, I totally, it's astounding to me that this much garbage has gotten through. It's the one business, movies and television. It's the one business where they have decided that customers are not important. No, customers are not important. Making money is, oh no, it's not that important. No, we just have to make sure that the shit that we're shoving is the shit that we want to shove, right? That's what we want to do, right? We gotta shove the right shit. We're shoving the shit, baby. We're shoving the shit. Guys, it's Saturday night. Are my levels okay? I think my levels are okay, right? I think they are. Look, I'm in a brand new studio. I'm in like in a foreign place. I've been here for like 2 days. You know when you move and you're like, hello? Nothing feels like your place. Everything feels foreign. That's what I feel like. Like I'm talking in some weird person's place. But that is my backdrop. I know, because that is my Tropic Thunder, baby. And that is my underworld. That's my underworld, man. Underwear. Not my underwear. It's my underworld. Underworld. Guys, my name is Danny Alex, and it is Poprageous Live Saturday night. So I hope you have a beverage, because I do. I do have myself a little beverage. I do. I got to cheers myself. Cheers. It's Saturday night after all. We're not in a hurry. Not in a huge hurry. I haven't had too much time to prepare. I really haven't. I'm just winging this shit as I go along. But I have watched Starfleet Academy. I wonder. You know what I should start with? Here's what I'm gonna start with. Image file. Add to stage. Well, that's not what I want though. There we go. Can we see that? I think we can see that. Okay. Yeah, we can. So, guys, and this is the entire point. I want to preface this with Starfleet Academy. Why is Star Trek? Look, I have a sides channel, okay? It's called Dimension Zero. And literally on Facebook, I do like 300,000 to 750,000 views per day. Per day. On YouTube, not as much, but I'm building. I have a shorts one, and then Dimension Zero on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. But literally, my demographics on thousands of followers. Let's say I'll just take Facebook. Thousands of followers on Facebook. And I do science, I do the universe, space, and I do a lot of Star Trek, a lot of Battlestar Galactica, guys. Do you have any idea how popular Battlestar Galactica is? And I like Battlestar Galactica. They have got to do a reboot of Battlestar Galactica, guys. They really do. They really do. Stargate's coming. I'm really happy about that. I am. Hopefully, it's not the modern version. You know what I'm saying. The point is, okay, guys. The point is, I'm not breaking news here. Okay, I don't think I'm breaking news when I say that 97, almost 98% of all of my followers in all of my science-related channels are male. Did I shock you in any way? Almost 97.8% or something like that is male on my sites, on Dimension Zero, on my Facebook. Big channel. I do, like I say, hundreds of thousands of views. And it's growing by like 500 followers per day. I mean, it's just a monster. So that 2% female is the Federation. The Federation is female. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? My science channel have virtually no female followers, almost zero across 3 different channels, even TikTok. And every time you go to TikTok, all you see are those little girls in bikinis doing this. That's all I get. I'm sitting there doing, like something about, Battlestar Galactica or something about Betelgeuse or Dyson spheres or Ton 618. On my right-hand side, I got all these like little girlies doing all these in bikinis. Does it take my attention? Of course it does. Of course it does. I try not to watch. I don't. Is that really what TikTok is? But look, my science TikTok is growing very quickly. Since I was 6 years old, I got my first telescope. Shining at what was the first thing I looked at? Saturn. My parents bought me a telescope at Christmas. I pointed it up to Saturn on I think it was a cold. I grew up in Canada. I was born in Europe. Spent 20 years in Los Angeles. So basically, I'm about as fucking Caucasian as you get, right? Like I am Caucasian ass. Born in Europe, grew up in Canada, 20 years in Los Angeles. But if we take a look at the chart, guys, and this will, based on what I'm saying, this will sort of help. Now, if we take a look at the science and engineering professionals, and this is actually the European one. I could not find the North American one. There's a more detailed one I could not find. I'll find it for the Tuesday Big Show. I promise. The Tuesday Big, or maybe the Thursday Big Show, because that's when episode 9 Starfleet Academy is on. But anyway, it gets to the point. Okay, it gets to the point. Science and engineering associate professionals, 83%. Now, in terms of, there's this one bubble chart where it shows where men go and women go, and basically is like 92% male when it comes to engineering and all this other stuff. And I think women are starting to come more, which I think is fantastic. But look, men and women are built differently, and that's okay. Like, dear God, it's freaking okay. There's a reason why when I release a Star Trek video, it's like, I mean, there's one or two girls, which I freaking love. Look, I love, there's nothing sexier than a girl talking Star Trek. I'm not talking about Rachel Leishman. I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is when women genuinely like Star Trek, right? When they start talking to you, and I haven't had it yet. But when they start talking, if they would start talking to you about the original Star Trek and Captain Kirk, Spock, or even the movies, or getting into the Next Generation, or even DS9, some of that, but you got into the Kelvin timeline. It does, that's quite sexy, right? When a woman starts talking about black holes and magnetars and inflation and the fact that the universe is expanding faster than light and yada yada, that becomes like God. And the other thing, now, if she would, like, on a Sunday morning, as she's walking to the fridge, she goes, "Hey, I'm having a beer. Do you want one?" I said, "What? Excuse me? We're about to watch the Buffalo Bills and 49ers play." She goes, "You want a beer?" Like, what? Excuse me? You want to get married? You want to get married? Well, you want to get married? It's my point. I know. I you know what I mean. Men and women are just different. Guys live sci-fi. We get into this stuff. We bury our nose into Star Wars. We bury our, like, we're with a dog. We're like dogs and fire hydrants. If the fire hydrant says Star Wars on it, our freaking nose, like, the owner will have to, like, yank our nose out from that fire hydrant, because all we see is Star Wars, Star Trek. All we see is, Doctor Who. All we see is, I'm actually doing 2 videos on Andromeda. With a gentleman, what's his name? Met him a couple of times. With the the Andromeda, totally boom. I'll remember it as I go along. But the male mind is programmed for this stuff. And if you look at Starfleet Academy episode 8, you start to realize that was so feminine. As a matter of fact, that was so feminine. I don't know how feminine that was. I mean, they should have, like, in stream, should have been selling, like, maxi pad and tampon products halfway through. They should have had, like, a box. They could have sold like a box, like, right on the thing, Tampax or something. They would have had like a million product sales. It was so freaking feminine. It was like Sam is a photonic hologram, right? She is basically, we're trying to say she's photons are particles of light, which makes her a hologram, but she has processors. Can someone freaking tell me, where in the hell are her processors? Where, if she is a photonic hologram, Can you tell me where her frickin' processors are? Are they photonic too? Are they photonic too? But if you take a look at what women do get into, is this a surprise for any of you? Now, this is the European one. In the American one, it's a little bit more skewed towards men. I couldn't find it. I have it. Thursday, the Thursday Big Show, episode 9, Starfleet Academy, or Shit Fleet, or whatever you want to call it. Personal care workers. Look, guys, 89% women. What did this episode feel like? Episode 8. Starfleet Academy. What did it feel like? Did it feel like cleaners and helpers, general and keyboard clerks, health associate professionals, teaching professionals, theater? Where I got that theater healing. I got theater healing. Health professionals, sales workers. You kind of get the picture, right? But especially when it comes to personal care workers, this is what women love to do. When you get a social worker, you're not going to see some guy walking up, you know? It's a chick. Oh, you're female. Are you also at the Starfleet Academy because you're female? Good chance you might be. But basically, they introduced I gotta put this. Yeah. There we go. I gotta put it on the subject. There's 3 main storylines in this utterly embarrassing. So, for 2 things, I will tell you: these people are not fucking screenwriters. They have no clue how to construct a story. I would love to go to any credible university and go to their English department or their screenwriting where they do creative writing and have these scripts. Like, I've done it. These are the kind of scripts that you give to people on what not to. This is the worst piece of shit screenwriting that you could come across. This is something that I would expect from like a grade 9 drama student. Grade 9, not in high school. This is utterly teenage garbage crap. Tarima, you're watching the whole Tarima thing, right? She's talking all episode about how she hurts people. Who is she hurt? Who is she hurt except for the furries? She hurt the furries on the Mayasaku, but so far she hasn't hurt anybody. She talks about going to the Caleb, you want to go to the abyss? You want to go to? She gets all hammered, right? She wants to, like, oh my god, this is just an utter disaster of character writing. This Tarima chick, right? And you kind of feel bad for the actress because you're like, what do you really? What? None of the actions make sense. She hasn't hurt anybody. Caleb's not. Nobody's hurt. The only people she hurt were the furries, that's the ones she was supposed to hurt. But she's in this distress. She was in a coma. No. What is she all stressed about? She hasn't hurt anybody yet. Nobody died. You know what they could have done? Okay, this is like 1 + 1 = 2, guys. What they could have done, I mean, this is so fucking juvenile. Why am I even have to suggest it to these? Imagine that maybe her screaming, when she destroyed the furries, also hurt Sam. Because all of a sudden Sam is having problems in this one. But Sam's problems were because of something else. They could have connected the two. They could have this would have made so much sense. Like, guys, I mean, yes, I am a screenwriter, but this did not take a screenwriter to fucking figure this out. Well, why didn't you just make her little scream of the Marasaki, of the sushi yakamani, or whatever the frick it was called. This is why Sam is all busted up. Well, then you couldn't do the daddy thing. Oh, fuck, you could have done the daddy thing. How do you repair her process? I don't know where her processors are. Why do you go to a doctor for my? She's a photonic hologram. Why do you go to a medical doctor? What, shouldn't you go to engineering? Scotty, I've got a problem. I got a problem with this Sam girl. She's a photonic hologram. What can you do for her? Oh wait, that's Scotty talking to someone. Captain, there's nothing I can do. The matter-antimatter converters are completely blown. She's gonna die. Scotty, you gotta do something. Find something. Give me 10 minutes, Captain. And then, Scotty comes back with it. He comes back with a solution. Captain, if I relay the front line matter antimatters with the converters into the magnetic containment field, I might be able to save Sam. Because Tarima almost killed her with that scream. That scream, Captain. I mean, they could have connected the two, and then Tarima's tension could have been, and I'm hurt, I broke my stomach. And then she's drinking that thing, acting all drunk, and then she wants to shtup, Caleb. First off, Caleb, I lost all freaking respect for you in episode 7. Am I right, guys? Episode 7. You freaking lost us, bro. Episode 7. You could have got... Are we done with this? We're done. Caleb was one sheet of fabric away when he was sunbathing. Genesis wanted to break. Could you imagine breaking into a Federation bridge? Even the reason that Genesis gave was like, well, you've already sat in a captain's chair. Well, my dad's captain's chair. I want to sit like in not his chair. Well, if you're gonna go to the bridge, you're gonna fucking sit in Captain Abe's chair, which is even further removed from your freaking ass. It doesn't even make sense. You want me to break into there? I want the payment now. We are one fabric there. We are like an underwear piece away from payment. I request payment. And I will bust you into the bridge and potentially ruin my entire future and go to jail and, It's great screenwriting, guys. It's just great screenwriting. This is what we call in the in the business. After 20 years in Los Angeles, I've learned one thing. This is just called great screenwriting. Yep. So I don't even know if I should do this recap. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll do a little bit of it. I mean, one of the worst websites out there is a website called Trek Movie. It's one of the worst. Okay, guys, it is literally. And look, I don't like going to places that reaffirm my opinion. I like going to places that are combative to my opinion. The only thing is trekmovie.com is full of not too bright people, right? They are like the propaganda arm for Alex Kurtzman. That's probably the best way to say it. They are like, there's 2 or 3 of them. And I think they literally, guys, I'm telling you, I think they literally said trekmovie.com. There's trekwars.com or something else. There's one more. I literally think this was set up by Alex Kurtzman. Arm's length away. He tells somebody, and then that somebody goes and does it. Arm's length. This is, guys, honestly, guys, Starfleet Academy. It's hard. It's hard. It is. I think the one of the worst TV shows ever put on TV was Robin Hood. You know Robin Hood, right? You know what I'm talking about. Not no, not Kevin Costner. Um, uh, I don't. I can't. How do I do this? Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I got it. No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. This is what I'm talking about. Oops. I know you know. Everyone's. I know. I know. There we go. Oh, why is it so small? Why is it so small? There we go. Is that better? Yeah, somewhat. So there we go, right? Robin Hood. You guys remember this one? Robin Hood. This was one of the absolute worst TV shows that you could watch. But there's a big difference. Excuse me. There's a big difference between Starfleet Academy and Robin Hood. Big difference. The difference is Robin Hood was some sort of a, bastardization of the original Robin Hood, Russell Crowe. Like what are all of the Robin Hoods? Kevin Costner, Robin Hood. There was the old cartoon I used to watch as a kid too. What makes Starfleet Academy worse than Robin Hood is that Starfleet Academy is taking such a rich and storied franchise with so much history. And look, as the years go on, it gets worse and worse and worse. Starfleet Academy, oh my God, I've been rewatching Discovery. I've hit a wall that I don't think I can keep going. But it makes Discovery look pretty good, guys. It even makes that Star Trek Enterprise, that 2000 or 2001, which is just terrible. It's the most unlikable Starfleet captain ever. It's not even talked about, right? It's not even talked about. That's how bad it is. But so the whole thing, there's three main storylines, and I'm not going to dwell too much on this episode 8. I do want to get to the Warner Paramount stuff. But basically, Sam, she's a photonic hologram. Some of her circuits are, they start processors. I don't know where the processors are. Someone has to tell me where these processors are. I don't know. She's a photonic hologram. Then she goes to a medical doctor for help. I don't know why he's going to help. Go to the engineering, go to the computer. Tarima, she hasn't hurt anybody. She's going through all this stress. Now we got theater healing. We got a new female boss. Sheila, what was her name? You know the girl I'm talking about, right? Let me close that. What's her name? Oh, geez. Hollywood Reporter. That's not it. That's not Sheila. Why can I not find this now? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's Paramount. you know what I'm talking about. I thought I saved it. Maybe I didn't save it. Sheila, what Sheila, something like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? They got a third. So basically, then the 3 female bosses, Jet, Abe, and Sheila. Sheila, it's a SH. It's an SH. It could be shit for all I know. They get together. They want to drink something with proof, which basically means alcohol. Give us some alcohol. Like, oh my God, this is such a female-friendly episode. There is an utter lack of masculinity. This is the This is the utter bastardization of Star Trek, more so than any other episode, guys. This is the complete and utter bastardization. And if we go and I'm going to share this with you. If we go to share screen, Starfleet Academy. If we take a look, so the episode somehow is a 6.2, but look, take a look, 1.1 thousand reviews. 1.1 thousand reviews, guys. This is for a major Star Trek release on Paramount streaming, and it only has 1.1 thousand reviews. Do you know what that means in terms of numbers? Basically, the only people watching this trash are the people that are reviewing this trash. And then friends of family who are in the production, and friends of family, and friends of family, and people that were bribed off to go out and say something nice. I don't like Holly Hunter. As a matter of fact, I do not like any Robert Picardo. Is he a good actor? He's a pretty good actor. He sucks. He sucks in this. The opening scene. If I'm going to do anything, if I will show you guys anything, is this? Oh, geez, how did I get to episode 3? Oh, shit. That's why you need a production assistant in the background. That's what you need. Starfleet Academy. Resume. Yes, thank you. Season 1 episode. Oh, you guys know that season 2 just finished wrapping, right? They just finished filming for season 2. Now, if season 2 of Starfleet Academy, if it seriously makes it to air, I have no respect for David Ellison or none of these fuckers. But I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna get into it. Warner Brothers will not be sold to Paramount. I said that Netflix will not buy Warner Brothers. It was not going to happen, one way or the other. So what happened this week, and I said Paramount's not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Netflix is out. They got $2.8 billion. All they did was push a little paperwork, and Netflix got $2.8 billion out of it. Okay, so this is, I don't want to get copyright struck. This is one of the most So this is the opening to Starfleet Academy episode 8, and I want to get to this utterly, look, there's nothing. Let's see how much I can. Yeah, if you guys are watching this on the replay and you hit a big blank screen for about a second or two, it's because I had to delete the copyright, hit that I took from trying to play this cringe.
Perspective granted by a good night's rest. It's an illusion, I want to say. I was here the whole time, and nothing has changed. But time is their beast. Time is my beast. It bites us differently.
So you listen to this opening monologue, and you're like, what is this supposed to mean? Is this supposed to be reflective? Is this supposed to create some sort of passion, compassion, energy, excitement? It does nothing except it's a boring piece of 1-minute trash monologue that is a amateur's way of trying to create some sort of emotional energy from the start. You don't start. You know what? I was watching Landman season 2. Here's a great fucking example. Landman season 2, episode 3. It starts off with, this is how you write TV, guys. It starts off with those guys. They're shooting the wild boar. Boom, boom, boom. If you guys haven't watched Landman, I'm telling you, watch Landman. They're shooting the wild boar, and you see all of a sudden the wild boar. It's like, oh, these guys are tough to hit. And one guy gets out. He goes running to him. And all of a sudden, you see him die. He just falls dead. The other three guys get out. They all run. All of a sudden, all of them die. The camera zooms out. You got all these dead cows and wild boar, and then the 4 dead guys. And that's how it starts. That's how you start a frickin' TV show, right? The first scene hits you so hard that you're like, holy crap.
Cadet Terima Sidal is returning to us today after having made a full recovery from her coma.
And so she made a recovery because she screamed out loud. She hurt nobody. She hurt absolutely nobody. No one at Starfleet got hurt. Nobody. She's hurt nobody in the entire episode. But this whole episode is about her going through trauma, hurting people. But she has yet to hurt anybody. It's a little confusing.
The Betazoids have given her a...
Look at the stairs. It's a fucking stare down. It's a stare down, huh? Yeah. Why? Because she saved everybody. She saved all she did was scream, and the little furries got wiped out, and she saved the entire situation, right? She saved lives. But these screenwriters are so terrible. They're so bad at what they do. They need to try. It makes no sense. None of this makes any sense.
Evolved neuroinhibitor that will allow her to control her abilities.
What abilities? What negative manifestation have we seen of her abilities? She saved like a few hundred cadets and other people from the furries
without risk of self-harm. The decision has been made to transfer her to Starfleet Academy for the remainder of her studies. While her body has healed, her mind...
And here we go. We get the big meeting. We got, look at Captain Abe. Look, this is the Federation as female. This could not be a more female subject in the sense of how it's introduced, how it's portrayed, how it's written, how it's executed, everything. That kind of writing works well in 90210, Melrose Place, any of the reality shows. Science guys don't. Yeah. It's no wonder no one's watching this. It's no wonder. And I don't want to go through more of it. I don't. There's no point to it. There's no freaking point, because this show, episode 8, proves Starfleet Academy is beyond compare to anything that we've seen. Anything. Dwelling on episode 8. At the end was Sam. They just come up with explanations. Oh, well, she must have this, that, and this, and this. Oh, she must have this. And Captain Abe, she figures it all out and explains that, well, she needs a father. How the fuck do you know? You literally just talked about it. And just because you talk about it doesn't mean it's true. But I guess it is, right? Because this is all tell, don't show. Again, you could watch this as a radio program and you would get the whole gist, because all they do is talk. There's no show. There's nothing. And so maybe what's his name becomes Sam's daddy, and that's we get some theater healing. We get some little this and that. Oh, remember the put your hand over my mouth, and I'll say excitotoxic. You remember that? Put your hand over my mouth and I will say excitotoxic. What if you use a ball gag and say excitotoxic? Fucking work just as well. Put your hand over my mouth and say excitotoxic. Can I just say excitotoxic? Oh, geez, guys. I am, that is, I don't know. I had a couple other things with Starfleet Academy episode 8. It's not worth it. It's not. As a screenwriter, I've been to university. I took creative writing. I spent a number of years writing screenplays, TV shows. It's hard. It's very hard. But to spend any amount of time on this garbage, it's not good. There's no point to it. There's no point to it. We'll leave it at that until episode 9. Thursday night big show, guys. Coming up 8 p.m. next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night big show. Oh, fuck. The Starfleet Academy. I cannot believe they're doing a second season. Now, I know that number 2 is Warner Brothers. I want to say Warner Brothers till the end. I want to do this quick little bit with Hail Mary. Hail Mary is coming out on March 22nd. Ryan Gosling. Canadian guy, right? Another Canadian guy from a small town. Where is he from? Kind of by close to Detroit. Small town guy. Nice fucking guy. Canadian guy. But Hail Mary, guys. And so there are some early screenings of Hail Mary. And I want to share those with you because I think it's I'm not going to play the trailer because apparently the trailer, before I went live, apparently the trailer is being copied. I don't know why is it. You know what? If you want people to play it and talk about it, why do you copyright hit people? What's the point of talking about it with the trailer? They just nail everybody with it. Yeah, you can fight it, but what? So let me Project Hail Mary. There we go. First reactions. So this was a few first reactions out of the theater, and there was a very early screening for certain people, and yours truly not part of that. Project Hail Mary centers on oh shit, that's Ryan Gosling's project. Oh shoot, hold on a sec. Let me God, there we go. Let me add that to stage. There we go. Oh, that doesn't kind of bleeds off to the right, doesn't it? Let me. I'm gonna fix this. I can do that. Yes, I can. There we go. Save that. Yes. Update layout. Yes, there we go. So Ryan Gosling's project, Hail Mary, first reactions. So this is some people right out of the theater, guys. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller's intriguing sci-fi epic. Now, this is one movie that is probably going to do really well. It's the first movie in 2026 that is expected, that a lot of people are actually looking forward to. And what people are seeing out of theaters is pretty amazing. Held its first press screenings this week, and the early reaction on social media seems overwhelmingly positive, with many suggesting a genre classic may be incoming. While official full critics reviews of Project Hail Mary are embargoed until closer to the film's March 20th, and I tried to look for some reviews that were official, there's nothing. Release date, Amazon MGM Studios allowed press to release social media reaction to screenings this week. Starring Ryan Gosling, the film is based on Andy Weir's hard science fiction bestseller. Could you imagine if they wrote this in the spirit of Starfleet Academy? Could you imagine? I think this is a great contrast because Starfleet Academy is going to end, and then basically a week later, we get this movie. It is going to be such an amazing contrast. between garbage and what might be one of the top movies of the year. We're also, I hate Hollywood Reporter. Every time you try and highlight something, the whole thing just shifts upwards. I seriously want to stop using Hollywood Reporter altogether just because of that. We're is also behind the equally ambitious and hugely successful hard sci-fi book, The Martian. We all know The Martian, which was adapted into film by Ridley Scott to much critical and commercial success. A further link to The Martian in the Drew Goddard, not important. Project Hail Mary centers around astronaut Rylan Grace Gosling, who awakens on a spacecraft with amnesia. Grace quickly works out he's on a mission to save Earth and he must engage the help of another life form. And that's really the impetus of the story. He names Rocky to complete his work. The cast also includes Sandra Hüller, Lionel Boyce, Ken Leung, and Milana Vayntrub. The Hollywood Reporter revealed that Rocky will be played by theater artist James Oritz. Project Hail Mary is released in theaters on March 20th. It is March 20th. A trailer for the film has been released during the Super Bowl. And so these are some of their out-of-the-theater reactions. Matt Neglia. Project Hail Mary feels in many ways like a miracle of a movie. That's a pretty strong language. Miracle of a movie. It combines the technical awe of Gravity. Gravity was a great freaking movie. I loved Gravity. Loved it. The problem-solving exhilaration and humor of The Martian and the sweeping emotion of Interstellar. I mean, that's pretty good. If you mix all those into one, count me in, into one film with its own unique style and charm, crafting. I did not want to do that, actually. Yeah, I don't want to read. There's a few to read, so I'll just read the front parts. Jorge R. Gutierrez, what Philip Lord and Chris Miller have done with Project Hail Mary is nothing short of miraculous, with an exclamation mark. Epic, sprawling, hilarious, visionary, soulful, heartfelt, timely, hopeful, gorgeous. Did I mention epic? I mean, that's a pretty powerful review. What a joy to witness cinema that feels like it hugs you back. We need this shit, guys. This is the stuff that we need. I mean, it feels great. Feels great to hear this. Ben David Grabinski, Project Hail Mary is perfect. I don't know if there's anything as perfect. That might be a little bit of hyperbole. And my favorite work Greg Fraser is done, and he was already the best guy doing it. Eric Cohn, Project Hail Mary is a faithful adaptation of the book, and as such, incredibly charming and imaginative. More than that, it continues Weir's uncanny ability to transform hard science into palatable mass-market entertainment. Excited to spend the next year debating astrobiology. Film posers, Josie Marie, Hail Mary, full of grace. I couldn't have I couldn't have hoped for a better adaptation of Project Hail Mary. A brilliant blend of light, sound, and color. A perfect cinematic experience, and maybe even one of the best movies of the decade so far. Amaze. Like, these are pretty, like, guys, these are like it's you don't hear reviews like this. I don't remember a movie getting these kind of Maud Garrett. Project Hail Mary is my fave standalone book of all time. That's pretty big. It's pretty big shoes to fill. The movie needed to be perfect. I'm giddy to say this movie faithfully and brilliantly adapts the book. I loved everything about it. Gosling is so perfect as Rylan Grace. I laughed, cried the whole time. I guess that's laugh, cry, going back and forth, I guess. Those damn Canadians. Ryan Gosling, those damn Canadians. Him and Keanu Reeves. I've known Phil Lord and Chris Miller for a very long time. Oh, this is Scott M. Gimple. I've been able to watch their careers from the very beginning. These gents have become giants, retaining their unique, humanistic, hilarious voice all along the way. Project Hail Mary is terrific. Go see the picture. Joey Magnuson, Project Hail Mary is a stunning achievement. Ryan Gosling is a perfect everyman hero, and Rocky is a practical effects wonder. Standing tall with E.T. among alien friends. Loved it so much. Andy Weir adaptations making amazing films. Like there's a lot of these. I mean, really. David Gonzalez, Project Hail Mary is pure science sci-fi nirvana. The epitome of the IMAX experience. Lord and Miller craft a story that feels both grand and intimate, leaving me completely enthralled. It transforms the loneliness of space into something profoundly human, grounding its spectacle in show more. We're not going to show more. I did watch an interview with Ryan Gosling. He was talking about the hooks to make the weightless thing. He said it was painful, it was tough, it was grueling to all these takes day after day, wearing these harnesses and whatnot. So look, sometimes actors go through a lot of work to try and get this stuff done. And I from what I hear, Ryan Gosling, this is the perfect movie for. If this was the follow-up, well, you know what? I don't know if this would be a great follow-up to Barbie. Barbie was a great movie because it addressed its audience. So all of these people like Ben Shapiro that were so fucking offended by Barbie. Ben Shapiro is the biggest dumbasses of all fucking time. He really is. Like, we need his movie reviews. Do you think they wrote Barbie for you, Ben Shapiro? $1.5 billion. Sounds to me like someone wrote a pretty good fucking movie because it wasn't intended for me. So if you're going to review a movie, review the movie based on who it was intended for. And Ryan Gosling stole the show in Barbie, man. I'm sorry, he did. He did. I was like Joe Rogan. Even Joe Rogan said the same thing. It's a fucking movie. I've never seen so many weak and cuckold men that got all whiny and piney over fucking Barbie. I know why people got angry. I watched it in the theater with 40 other women. Just me, the only guy in Los Angeles. I get it. It wasn't written for me. Margot Robbie didn't act and write that thing out, but I tell you, Ryan Gosling, that's the point I'm making. Ryan Gosling. They even played I Am Ken on the frickin' awards show. Of all the things they could have, that was the movie. I wish Dan Girolamo, but it just shows that Ryan Gosling is basically, he's the next Brad Pitt. Ryan Gosling has got more acting chops, right? Gosling's got way more acting chops than Pitt. Pitt basically played a lot of the same characters through a lot of his career. He looked like Robert Redford, and I think that's a big part to his appeal. Robert Redford was a good looking man. You punch up old images of Robert Redford, same jaw, everything as Brad Pitt. It's almost like because of that, there was like this connection with this perfect facial structure that Robert Redford had, that Brad Pitt had. But Brad Pitt, look, you have to have the acting chops to make it. I was shocked at how much I cared about an alien in the Project Hail Mary. Surprisingly emotional. It's more buddy comedy than space epic. Ryan Gosling might be the best blockbuster actor right now. For weird adaptations, I prefer The Martian, but Project Hail Mary was fun. Just like any actor, a great actor with the right script, right director, right crew, right editor, right producer, all that stuff, right? It takes a team. Magic happens. Yeah, man, somehow, some way, Project Hail Mary gets better on a rewatch. Did I read that right? It doesn't matter. I really love this movie. If you live near one of the giant IMAXs that has a 70mm print, go! Incredible experience. Review up when the embargo breaks. We'll do a couple more. Project Hail Mary is perfect. Imagination unleashed, even better than I pictured it on the page. How Gosling captivates throughout a largely one-man show is beyond me. And apparently his relationship with Rocky is, look, that is what makes great screenwriting. When you can take, it's the same thing with any movie where you have two characters that basically most of it becomes banter back and forth. That is hard because that is movie making. You have got to show a lot more than you tell because you need to create stimuli or stimulus that is real, that feels real. When you add extra characters, those characters create the stimulus. New scenes, new settings create the stimulus. But when you have a fairly static environment, that is where great screenwriting, acting, directing comes in. Project Hail Mary is perfect. Imagination unleashed, even better than I pictured it on the page. How Gosling captivates throughout a largely one. Oh, did I read this already, right? One more. Alec Hurst. Guys, I had the crazy luck to see Project Hail Mary early, and it's weird, hilarious, joyful, dazzling gem of a movie. I mean, that's pretty solid review. Ryan Gosling's chemistry with a puppet rock alien, Rocky, will make you cry. I do like crying in movies. I do. And when a fictitious movie is able to move you to the point of tears, especially a guy, it's powerful. Look, I can't explain. Just watch on the biggest screen possible. I'm going to do one more. I like that. Anthony Gagliardi. Anthony Gagliardi. Project Hail Mary is a thrilling masterpiece. Lord and Miller craft a breathtaking space epic filled with heart emotion and connection, powered by a phenomenal performances, extraordinary visuals, and scene-stealing Rocky. Rocky steals the scene. Yo, Adrian, at IMAX never looked so good. An unforgettable cinematic show more, which I will not. But anyway, guys, what that is saying is when Hail Mary comes out on March 20th, go see it. Go Ryan Gosling. It's one of the good movies, guys. It's one of the good movies of the year. Good theater, good cinema needs to be supported. It does. Saturday night. Cheers, my friend. How do we get rid of shit cinema, shit TV, shit movies? How do we get rid of this shit? We don't watch it. We don't pay for it. We don't stream it. The only reason I stream Starfleet Academy or Shitfleet Academy or whatever this garbage trash, Alex Kurtzman, since 2009, the destruction of an amazing, the destruction went on a little bit before that. But don't watch it. I will not, unless I'm reviewing it, I'll watch it for free, motherfucker. I will not watch. I'm not giving these fucking money. Don't give them money. Don't watch it. That's the power. You know what? You don't want the customer. You don't want us customers. Fuck you. Pound sand. David Ellison. You want to buy Warner Brothers? I'm telling you, we're going to get into this. It won't happen. I'm telling you right now, guys. David Ellison and Larry Ellison will lose $10 billion. And I'll tell you why it won't happen. I knew Netflix was not going to buy it. Netflix knew that it wasn't going to come through, especially after congressional hearings. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it. They knew they were going to get it through. It's not because of the U.S. It has less to do with U.S. regulators. I don't care. You know what? Trump and Larry Ellison. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Look, I don't want to mention it, but maybe I will. Just one quick passing. The U.S. did attack Iran with Israel today. All I see I see a freaking harness on Trump's face. And Bibi Netanyahu, which is not his real name. His real name is like John Brown or something, right? Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm not a hey, look, man. I'm right. I was born in a communist country. I fucking know what free market economy is. I worked in the stock markets. That's what it's all about for me. Freedom and free market economy. Anything left of center is most likely bullshit. But the crap, you really? So basically, based on all international law, and it doesn't matter if it's your worst enemy, you're talking to them. You're sedating them through conversation. And then all of a sudden, even the U.S. Congress needs to know about this. They didn't know anything. For the most part, I am a Trump supporter, for the most part. But that most part is dropping. It used to be at 83, 84%. It's maybe down to 60, 62%. What the fuck is like literally, I honestly believe that Trump is just fucking Netanyahu's lapdog. Anything Israel wants, that fucking Trump is just gonna just get. Okay, yeah. Like, what kind of shit do you have on Trump? It makes you think that, right? It kind of makes you think that. Because Trump says, like, you pull out the frickin' 2 aircraft carriers and this and that. Look, I know a lot of Persians in Los Angeles. I got a lot of Persian friends. They hate the theocracy. I hate theocracy. It's nothing worse. I'm not a religious guy. Nothing worse than a theocracy. It's the worst thing you could ever live under. See, my Persian friends, Iran's got like 55% female university students, 55 engineers. The Iranian people, like just the regular peeps, are good fucking people. Highly educated. But anyway, I say that because I don't care. I don't care if Trump is going to give the nod to his best buddy Larry Ellison and Silver Spoon boy. I was born Larry Ellison's son, so I have endless billions at my disposal to do whatever the fuck I want. Is Warner Brothers worth $110 billion or $111 billion? It might be. It might be with the properties they have. Could it be monetized? It might be. I've heard a lot of people talking about that know shit about financial markets or anything. I worked on Wall Street for 8 years. Is Warner Brothers worth $31 per share? It might be. But it won't go through. And I'll tell you why. Let's talk Warner Brothers. Let's talk Warner Brothers and Paramount, shall we? I know we've just been talking about it, but let's go deep. Saturday night, Pop Rages Live is Saturday night. It's Saturday, so I have a glass of wine. Usually I have a half a glass of wine on the Tuesday big show and the Thursday big show. On Saturdays, I have 2/3 to a full cup. Yes, I know it's cardboard. So I know we were just talking about Warner Brothers and Paramount. And so the question is, what kind of assets are in? Let me remove that. Oh, I'm going to remove that. Let's add stop screen, share screen is, oh, is that the one? Okay, so I wanted to prompt AI to get the right answers, to show you guys what's going on with the whole Paramount. And I want to explain, as someone who worked on Wall Street, as a market maker at ARCA, which is NYSE and NASDAQ, Instinet, and also an economic analyst. I worked on mergers, financials, the whole nine yards. This stuff is, I don't want to say it's pedestrian, but what it is worth to a Paramount, a Warner Brothers is the piece de la resistance. It is the cherry on top, man. And it's not going to go through. David Ellison just wired, I don't know, do they wire $2.8 billion? What do you do for $2.8 billion? Do you wire it? I don't know. He said, here's a check. Here's a certified check for $2.8 billion. Like, I don't know. But make sure this is a so the $2.8, this payment was a termination fee, also known as the breakup fee, required to release Warner Brothers from its prior merger agreement with Netflix. Key details of the transaction: purpose, the payment allowed, this is the $2.8 billion that Paramount had to pay Netflix, allowed Warner Brothers to exit its deal from Netflix so it can instead accept a superior $111 billion acquisition from Paramount. Confirmation: Netflix confirmed receipt of funds in an SEC filing on Friday, February 27th, 2026. Strategic outcome: by paying the fee on Warner Brothers' behalf, which was Zaslav. Zaslav is playing these fuckers. Paramount cleared the final contractual hurdle to merge with the studio, which owns HBO, CNN, and the Warner Brothers film library, which I would say the most coveted media properties, entertainment properties out there. Netflix chose not to match Paramount's higher bid. Well, yeah, because you don't have to choose it. You get $2.8 billion for moving a bit of paper around. Could you imagine? They maybe spent, what, $200 million at best for legal fees, filing fees, this fee, another $100 million. Almost double it. Call it $500 million they spent on this. They just got a check, a wire for $2.8 billion. Stating the acquisition was no longer financially attractive at the price $1 more per share. $1 more per share. $1. Really? That's how tightly you're... No, it's strategic. It's strategic. Because you know why? Netflix knows that Paramount will not get the deal through. And it's not the Department of Justice, guys. It's not. I'll tell you in a few minutes when I get through this. The deal is now moving towards a shareholder vote and regulatory review with a target closing date in the third quarter of 2026. We're talking 6 months from now. We're talking the next NFL season. Okay? The next NFL season. What is it? There's a lock and slip between a cup and a lip. Is that what it is? Is that old saying? So let's keep moving along with Warner Brothers. So no, Netflix does not have to return the money if the deal fails to get regulatory approval between Paramount and Warner Brothers. It's done. They had to pay that. Paramount had to pay Netflix $2.8 billion to get them off the deal. The fact that Warner Brothers looped it up so freaking tight to me, as someone who has worked on Wall Street for almost a decade, The $2.8 billion was a breakup fee paid specifically to terminate the existing Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery merger agreement. Why wasn't the agreement just left open until such time, call it 90 days before the closing of the deal, or the perceived closing of the deal? Netflix's legal right to have a fee was finalized, regardless of whether Paramount's new deal ultimately succeeds. What happens if regulators block the Paramount deal? Oh, where was I? What happens if regulators block the Paramount deal? Instead of a refund from Netflix, Paramount has built a separate safety net for... So now Warner Brothers, instead of a $5.2 billion safety net, they now have a $7 billion regulatory termination fee. If the deal is blocked by regulators, it will be, I'll tell you in a sec. Paramount must pay $7 billion directly to Warner Brothers Discovery. So basically, what I say will happen is that David Zaslav will get a check for $7 billion. It will end up costing Larry and David Ellison $10 billion for a whole bunch of shit that was never going to happen. But Zaslav will pay down that debt, and they're $7 billion. They'll move out the legacy stuff. Warner Brothers will be in good shape. And I think it's going to stay independent. Maybe you heard it here first, guys. Warner Brothers will probably stay independent. Ticking fees. Get this, guys. Ticking fees. Are you listening? Starting September 30th, 2026, Paramount must pay Warner Brothers shareholders an additional 25 cents per share per quarter for as long as the regulatory review drags on. Total risk between the $2.8 billion already paid to Netflix and the potential $7 billion penalty to Warner Brothers, Paramount and its backers, including Larry Ellison, are risking nearly $10 billion. If you include the 25 cents per share, it probably is $10 billion, on the assumption that they can win antitrust approval. Who cares about Department of Justice? His buddy Trump is going to get that. Netflix, meanwhile, has already confirmed in an SEC filing that it will use the $2.8 billion windfall to fund new content and resume share repurchases. $2.8 billion for nothing. Nothing. Incredible. Do I want to share this? This is... Look, a lot of these people who write this stuff have never worked in the financial business. Some of them have gotten these things with a $2.8 billion breakup fee now paid a step aside. The final structure obstacle over the Discovery deal appeared to be falling in place. No, they're not, you dumbass. The remaining questions are less about if Paramount moves forward and more about when. No, it's not. See, these are people that know fuck all about the financial business. Geeks and gamers, what do I mean? Look, nothing against them, but you don't know anything about the financial business. Who wrote this? Marvin Montanaro. Have you worked in the financial business? So you know this shit? Or you're just shooting out your butt? No slight, guy. I'm just calling it the way it is. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Nothing is official yet, but the board of directors, the cash movement, and the market reaction all point in the same direction. Paramount is now in the driver's seat, and the industry is bracing for the next announcement. Sorry, man, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know where the jeopardy is, guys, and here's the big fucking news, okay? We're late enough to show I can say the F-bomb. It's Saturday night. It's Pop Rageous Live Saturday night. So before I tell you why it's not going to go through, I'm going to have a sip of wine. And the fact that Larry Ellison is going to lose $10 billion, I'll drink to that too. Okay. Why will the Warner Brothers transaction not go through? It has nothing to do with the United States, Department of Justice, FCC, anything else. It has everything to do with the European Union. I will guarantee you, the European Union will not allow the mega merger to occur to allow such absolute centralization of so many properties in the hands of one person. Netflix is different. They created most of their properties, right? Yes, they bought stuff along the way. You're talking about Paramount, Warner Brothers, HBO, CNN. That's a little bit of a joke. You're talking about the most coveted movie TV projects. The dilution of entertainment, when you dilute something, on the other end, you get a focus, right? So it's like going through a tunnel. And then on the other side, you get a laser beam. You will probably have up to 50, 60% layoffs at Warner Brothers. You will have an utter dilution. So maybe the budgets were, combined, maybe the budgets were 20 billion for new projects. Maybe it'll be 15 billion or 12 billion. It'll fall to 10 billion. Because all they want is that catalog. They'll stick it in. I will guarantee you, and I will say this just like I said, the Netflix deal will not go through for whatever reason. Netflix realized that what they were experiencing on Capitol Hill, it was not going to happen. So for them to walk away with 2.8 billion, shit, you know what? I should have put a bid in for Warner Brothers. It will not go through. The European Union, just like with Microsoft, you remember Microsoft and what was it, EA Sports or whatever it was? They had to drop a lot of properties. In this case, because Microsoft reneged on a few of those guarantees, EU will not fall for it. And all of the stuff that Trump has been doing to Europe, this is going to be the big middle finger to Trump. It's going to be the EU saying, fuck no. No. If the EU says no, it's not happening. Guys, I will tell you right now, Warner Brothers and Paramount, unless they drop major properties, if they sell it to Universal, they sell it to Netflix, they sell it to Disney, they sell it to whoever the fuck they want, Amazon, they will have to dump so much, it will make it negligible. And Larry Ellison and David Ellison will lose $10 billion. And nothing would have happened. Nothing. That's what's going to happen. Nothing. Larry Ellison, this is how you lose $10 billion fast. Now, it might go through if they drop enough properties, if they sell off maybe Lord of the Rings. You know what? You can't have HBO and have it all at once. Sell HBO to Universal. There's going to be properties that the EU is going to sit there and go, fuck you. And they probably would have said the same thing with or without this, this consternation. What do you want to call it between EU and USA? If the EU says no, it's not happening. It will not happen. It's the only other regulatory body that could unequivocally kibosh this entire deal. And that is where I cannot believe. Look, the bankers that are involved with Larry Ellison and David Ellison, they still get their payments. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do it. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work. But guys, I'm telling you, it won't go through. The EU won't let it happen unless there's an incredibly large amounts of divestitures that happen at the Warner Brothers level, which will make the Paramount acquisition almost, what's the point? What's the point? I am shocked that David Ellison and Larry Ellison paid $2.8 billion to Netflix in some desperate attempt. It's what it looks like, right? Desperation. In a desperate attempt to try and buy Warner Brothers. But anyway, guys, that is what's going to happen. That, mark my words, it won't close. It won't close. Warner Brothers and Paramount will not close because of the European Union. And I'm telling you right now, it won't close unless they sell a lot of shit. They'll say sell HBO. What else? Sell HBO and sell CNN. Then you can buy Warner Brothers. But of course, then the price tag's got to go down. HBO is an amazing property. The first streaming service, literally, right? The first streaming service. CNN, well, who the fuck wants CNN? But that's what's going to happen, guys. That is my prediction. That is my prediction. We'll see in the third and fourth quarter of this year. We got a long ways to go. A lot of Universal might poke their head in still. Universal. There's a lot of things that could happen in the public markets. I sometimes, like I having worked 8-9 years in on Wall Street, some of the stuff that happens, I'm just absolutely blown away at the kind of freaking money that just gets shoved around with $2.8 billion to Netflix for what? A breakup fee? Are you kidding me? Nothing happened. These companies engage in these breakup fees, this fee, and they pay these billions of dollars. And you're like, okay, whatever. I'll shut up. So, but that is my big point. That is my big point with Warner Brothers and Paramount. I just don't think it's going to go through. Grab bag, guys. The grab bag basically means anything that I want to talk about. But tonight, because I just moved and I got a whole new studio, and I'm far from being fresh. I am far from being prepared for this evening. I won tonight. I had a few things set up, and you know, every time you go live, you're kind of like, well, wait a sec, what am I going to talk about? When the camera goes live, you figure it out, right? You start yakking away, and it gets you somewhere, hopefully to a good place of it's show business. Look, no one, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, make no mistake, it's show business, guys. It's show business. Camera goes live, you better have something to fucking say, right? But guys, Starfleet Academy episode 9, Thursday, the Thursday night big show, the Tuesday night big show that's coming up in 3 days. I think we're going to be talking some Mandalorian. I want to talk. So I've been doing some for shorts. Like I said, I got a science fiction channel called Dimension Zero. I release reels, shorts, under a minute, under 3 minutes. But what's happening with like the Iron Man stuff, the Spider-Man stuff, anything superhero is doing like crap. It is like crap. It used to get all these shares, it gets all these likes and everything like that. It almost gets nothing now. Iron Man, you might as well just put a little short out about the moon. Iron Man attracts nobody. There's nobody that wants to watch it. The algorithms know it across TikTok, Facebook, Reels, Instagram, and YouTube. And my science channel is across all these properties and doing, I mean, it's kicking ass in Facebook. But I can release an Iron Man video on Facebook. No one cares. No one cares. Spider-Man, a little bit more, depending on the video. But Iron Man, no one fucking cares about Iron Man. No one cares about Robert Downey Jr. Guys, I'm telling you, it used to be 2-3 years ago, used to release an Iron Man short, boom. Like right off the bat, 10, 15, 20,000 views if it didn't go viral, if it was a good video. Now, 1,500. No one cares. 10% of the likes, shares. No, and no one even shares it anymore. No one cares. No one cares about Marvel, guys. Doomsday is in fucking trouble. Doomsday is looking towards a doomsday. Maybe that's something we'll talk about on Tuesday if there's we got some info to talk about that. But guys, the superhero genre is dead. It's over with. It was a phase. You know what? I've been watching the Captain America movies. I watched Captain America Winter Soldier, and I watched Captain America Civil War. I rewatched them just last couple. I enjoyed them. I did. I enjoyed them. You know what? It's good. It was good screenwriting, but I know that their screenwriting process was a chaotic mixed bag of we gotta this is a Frankenstein monster we gotta piece together. And basically every Russo brothers, it doesn't matter what the process is to get you to the finish line. Whatever that process is, whatever works for the Russo brothers worked in phases 1, 2, and 3. It worked. But what I'm saying, guys, I see the evidence releasing shorts and 1 to 3 minute, 1 to 4 minute videos. No one cares. No one cares about Iron Man. No one cares about the Flash. No one cares about Superman. Spider-Man, if you get the right video, like I say, there's a little bit of interest. The Hulk, almost nothing. Superheroes are dead. Doomsday might be in more trouble than you think. Doomsday, guys, I'm saying right now, Doomsday, I could fucking care less for Doomsday. I was a customer. You were a customer. And you wanted to treat us like shit, like you did. And now you want to, hey, Kevin Feige, you want us to come back and give you our money after what you did with us? Really? I'm sorry. Fuck you. Hey, Ben Fisher. What's up? New sub and fellow Trekkie. Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm a Trekkie. Oh, I love Trek. I'm a Trek man. I'm a Trek. Yeah. Well, you know, let me one up you on that one. Let me. Can I give you a? Can I give you a? That's what I want to give you. For me, Avengers Endgame was the closure for the. It was. Ben, you're talking my language. Like I say, I just watched Winter Soldier with Bucky, right? The introduction. I really, geez, I haven't watched that movie. Oh my God. Is it 10 years already? 8 years? 10 years? 9 years? Yes, I watched it yesterday. Yeah. I'm putting my new studio together because I just moved. And I watched it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I started Civil War. I missed, I really enjoyed watching them again. And then it got to me thinking, can this magic be recreated? No, not by just bringing back the old boys, not by bringing back old man Iron Man. No, it's a gimmick. For me, I'll take Star Trek Enterprise all day over Kurtzman's Trek all day. Fucking rights, man. Yeah, fucking rights, man. Yeah, Ben. Kurtzman has all Kurtzman saw. He screwed that little butthole right up the behind, right? Kurtzman tanked fucking Star Trek. I have never seen. Look, the Force was female. The Federation is more episode 8 of Starfleet Academy. You cannot get more feminization of Star Trek than episode 8 of Starfleet Academy. You cannot get any more feminization. And we're talking, and like I said, I got science channels that are 98% male. 86% 35 years old and higher. That's your demographic. And Ben, I'm probably thinking you're in that demographic. My captain will always be Picard. Picard is a good fucking captain. Such a good captain, right? That man exudes I'm a captain. Though I didn't like much of season 1 and 2, but seeing the last few episodes of season 3, just like anything, I think it develops, right? These things develop. Characters develop. It's like a pair of running shoes. They don't feel good at first, but you wear them for a while, they get settled in, and all of a sudden, oh man, you can't live without them, right? Picard, his facial expressions, his charisma, the way you know how Captain Abe in Starfleet Academy sits in the captain's chair like she's like feet off and everything. She's probably just about to masturbate or something. I don't know what she's fucking doing in that captain's chair. No charisma, zero. Holly Hunter sucks. Everybody sucks. Stop telling me what's that old freaking guy. Like I guess I don't know if he's a good. Robert Picardo. Sorry, he's not a good actor. Like every time I hear it on another YouTube video, someone says, "Oh, he's a good actor." It's like, fuck you. He sucks. And yes, sometimes a script makes an actor look really bad. He chose Starfleet Academy, and Robert Picardo looks frickin' bad. They all look bad. You don't live this down. You have this on your resume. So don't go around bullshitting yourself. That always a good actor. Holly Hunter, no, she looks bad. This is bad on their resume. Like, don't even, fuck. Getting emotional. See my crew aboard the Enterprise one last time. That got me in the feels. Yeah, well, it does get emotional. I don't like the way Captain Kirk, what was the movie where he died? They should have let him go back to the Nexus, right? They should have. You gotta fuck, this is Captain Kirk. She should not have died under a stack of, a metal bridge. He should have went back to the Nexus to live his life out with the freaking horses. That's how Captain Kirk should, I disagree with the way Kirk died. William fucking Shatner. He's still with us. So yes, Ben, thank you for subbing. Thank you for being with me. Please come by. Your opinions are always, I am not, just like when you're the host, I'm a screenwriter. So I have not watched all Star Trek. I haven't watched all Discovery. I don't think I can. But there are things that people, did you by chance check out the Starfleet Academy scene where they botched the dumbhead quote, specifically leaving out when episode 4? Was that episode 4? I think it's episode 4. I'm lost, but yeah, Ben, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Starfleet Academy is an abomination. It's an abomination of Star Trek. I'm a science nerd, right? I love everything universe, and have since I was like, a little kid. Science fact leads into science fiction. Every great astrophysicist will probably tell you that they were they watched Star Wars, Star Trek, Space 1999. They watched Carl Sagan Cosmos 1980, September 22nd, every Sunday. 1980, September 22nd to December 21st. Carl Sagan Cosmos. Neil deGrasse Tyson wasn't as good as Carl Sagan's, but Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's a good orator, right? He's a good vocal. He's an astrophysicist, so he knows this stuff. if you like science fact, you will love science fiction. If you love science fiction, you should love science fact. But as a screenwriter, I will not. There's a lot of screenwriters that will not say certain things because they don't want to burn bridges. I will burn, for the record, I will burn a fucking bridge, okay? I will. I moved out of Los Angeles. Thank you very much. Thank you. I moved out of Los Angeles about. I lived there for about 20 years, almost 20 years. And I moved out of Los Angeles. And now that I'm out, I've been out for about 8 months. I have no desire to work for Disney. I have no, not in its current incantation. I have no desire to work for. I don't know. I have screenplays that have hundreds of awards I've won at film festivals around the world. I've never sold one. It's never been about money for me. I don't need the money. It's about not bastardizing what you created. I will. Part of the reason why I started my own YouTube channels and my own Facebook is to make my own movies. I have some New Zealand mates who are directors. They've worked in the business for many years who are going to do this with me, but that's why I kept control of all my screenplays. So we'll see where that goes. But I really, everyone that comes by, and Ben, thank you for subbing and joining the family. We are on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And yeah, as a lifelong Trekkie, yes, the drumhead. I type way too fast. Anyway, yeah, they purposely left that out, and they really made me see red. The film you're referring to was Generations. Was it Generations? Right, I get confused because there's like 3 or 4 Picard movies, right? And I get the names. I get confused, and then when it was questionable whether they should have brought. But look, Picard, to see Picard and Kirk together was a pretty good visual. Like we can now look back at it, and we saw it. It's like when they killed Han Solo without getting all 3 of them back together. You sons of bitches. To see Picard and Kirk side by side, it was a bit, you know what? You could probably almost go audition finger puppets for that one. Like that was pretty amazing. Kirk and Picard side by side. That is not the ending I would have chose for Kirk. Get him back into the Nexus with his horses. That's where freaking not dying under a. I agree. There we go. Kirk deserved a better send-off, but him partnering with Picard to stop Sauron was great. It was. It was. We will have that memory to see them together forever. 2 of the greatest starship, right? The 2 greatest captains. I am not against Chris Pine either. I'm not. I don't like 2009, the way they set up that Kirk in the Kelvin timeline, which I think was bullshit. I mean, if I would have set that character up, I would have set him up a little rambunctious, but with the presence of mind. Right from the beginning, that presence of mind, instead of being a rambunctious asshole in 2009. And that is where Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams, right from the beginning, 2009, right from the beginning of these mofos getting their paws on this shit, how they fucked up Captain Kirk. Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana, the whole crew there, I thought was pretty good. I did. I thought Chris Pine is a good Captain Kirk. To stop Sauron was great. Seeing Enterprise D destroyed made its return in Picard all the sweeter. Yep. There's no arguments. I think any Star Trek fan is basically going to recite the same. They're going to feel similar things. They might have a few deviations here and there, right, Ben? I mean, they're not going to. But for the most part, for the most part, there's going to be general consensus. Everyone gets, there's no right or wrong. But I think when it comes to the lore, when it comes to the characters, when it comes to what makes a Starfleet captain, Jean-Luc Picard was a freaking great captain. Captain Kirk was a great captain. Like, these are people that you can literally look up to. Like, as a kid, even like, as an older adult, I can look up to Jean-Luc Picard and go, you know what? He would have made an okay Gandalf too, right? Jean-Luc Picard. He would have made an okay Gandalf. I know. I just, no one beats Ian McKellen. Nobody. He's not possible, my friend. He's not, no. I'm just throwing things out there. For me, even though they are AI, the fans are making better AI shorts better than Disney. It proves to me that Star Wars is not just in the is not lost in the wrong hands. Oh, it's not lost. It's just in the wrong hands. All of these properties are in the wrong hands, right? The biggest thing that I've always said about these properties, it always happens when the creator or the auteur dies or quits. When George Lucas left, he sold Star Wars, he was gone. When George Lucas left Star Wars, Disney got their paws on it. I mean, it was like straight down. Movie 1, movie 2, movie 3. I don't remember the names of them. You know, Return of the Jedi was not Return of the Jedi, but fuck. I'd have to look at my IMDb to remember. They're so forgettable. Obi-Wan Kenobi, one season. It could have been it had the makings, story-wise. Obi-Wan Kenobi had the makings of a great season. It did. But right from the beginning, the forest chase scene, right? Remember this forest chase scene? And everything else that turned it into the coat. All this shit that turned it into a mockery. A mockery. It could have been such a great... I'm not an Andor fan because it's kind of boring. I don't know. I'll try. I'm going to keep trying with Andor. But Gene Roddenberry died in 1993. And then when his writers started to bleed off into the 2000s, that's when you saw this drop. Stan Lee died in 2018. When he was gone, they went full on, right? Let's make lemonade. They went full on. I think the day Stan Lee died is probably the day that Kevin Feige said, there's going to be more female Marvel superheroes than men. Probably. That worked out well. That worked out well for a predominantly male. Even the girls that watch superheroes, they just want to see Captain America in that tight little spandex or whatever. When the auteur dies, and the creator dies and they move on, is when shit and other people, and you get this infusion. These people that have got other objectives. Starfleet Academy, the people that write Starfleet Academy, nothing against women, so don't fucking pull the shit out of your hat and say, oh, Danny is such a... Women do not know science fiction. I'm sorry. I don't know homemaking. I don't know cooking. I don't know the shit that women talk about. Women don't talk about the same things as men talk about. We talk about different stuff. We're different types of people. We have different emotional baskets. Starfleet Academy, episode 8 is about as feminine as it gets. It's about as feminine as it gets. This was written by females, for females, about females. The only thing missing was the Tampax box on a few corners. for product placement. Tampax or, something, because guys were not watching this fucking shit. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan, Trekkie, Tolkien, DC fanboy. But so DC, tough question. Ben, would you take the Snyderverse or the Gunverse? That's a biggie. You want to know my answer? I would, from what I've seen, I'll take Snyder. I'll take the Zachverse over what I've seen so far. Did I finish that? So you're preaching to the choir? Yeah, it did. But the battle scene at the end with Vader was pretty cool, but the rest was eh. Yeah. My favorite film so far as a fan, I personally was involved in. You personally involved in? Oh, you're personally involved in was the Snyder Cut, Justice League. Warner Brothers forcing Warner Brothers' hand to release it. I was part of that campaign. Good job. I didn't even watch episode 8. It was all very feminine. Oh fuck, brother. It was interesting. Before I read that, but I did not read that. There were a few, as a screenwriter, I look at some of the things that Zack Snyder did with the Justice League. Some things I would have changed, that a few changes that would have made a dramatic difference in like Batman v Superman. Great concept. It's just 2 or 3 little things he could have changed to change the whole thing around. But I will take Mike. Snyderverse all day long over Gun. Yeah. Nope. Yep. Oh, wait a second. Where are we here? We got Ben. Oh, Mike, you didn't watch episode 8. It was all very feminine already. Oh, God, it was gay. I mean, it was, look, someone wants to be gay all day long, but it was feminine gay. It was feminine. This was, like I say, I have a science channel, and 98% of I have thousands of followers on my science channel. 97.8% are male. 97, and I release a lot of Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, Skynet, Matrix, and I do a lot of like Betelgeuse, Dyson spheres, Kardashev scales, black holes, magnetars. It's all guys. Snyderverse all day long over the Gunverse. Fuck yeah. Ben, I help spread out videos, information, and moderate. Oh, Nerdrotic. And Geeks and Gamers, etc., to force Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut. I like Nerdrotic. I think Gary Beekler is look, I will not get into a sparring match when it comes to comics. He will destroy me. The guy knows his shit. Like there are some like Gary Beekler, like there are some questions. I don't watch all of his stuff, but I do try and watch Friday Night Tights and some of his reviews. And there's some stuff that he comes up like, how the fuck could you know that? How the fuck could you know that? I mean, it really is. I don't know if I have an equivalence of knowing sort of the stuff, but I like this. Look, I like people that put out the prevailing wisdom. And look, Geeks and Gamers, what's his name? Is it Jeremy? Jeremy, right? I agree with Jeremy 80% of the time. I agree with Gary Beekler 90% of the time. 88% of the time. Most of the time. There's a reason why he has 1.3 billion followers. It's not because of luck. Right? There's a reason. You could disagree with them. Disagreement is a part of just being a human being. But it's hard to disagree with most of the stuff he says. I mean, yeah, James Gunn can shove it with his. As a screenwriter, I had so many different takes on Superman 2025 that I can't believe so many people missed. Like the first thing I'll say about Superman 2025 was the inciting incident. And when you're a screenwriter, you write the opening scene and the setup towards the inciting incident. The inciting incident is when everything changes, right? All hell breaks loose and everyone goes on their merry way to start working their way towards the third act climax. What happened? The inciting incident was Superman saves everybody from the 300-foot tall gremlin. And then all of a sudden, Lex Luthor goes on this big screen. Everyone's thankful. Thank God Superman saved us, with the worst looking Green Lantern I've seen in my life, the worst looking Hawk Girl I've seen in my life. And Mr. What's his name? Like, whatever. Was he good? He wasn't that good. But in a sea of shit, he was probably pretty good. And then Lex Luthor comes on a big screen and says he has a harem and his mommy and daddy said, take over the world, son, because you can. And then within a minute and a half of story time, real time, someone's throwing a pop can at the back of Superman's head as he's walking away from the 300-foot dead gremlin that he saved the fucking city from. This is your inciting incident? Holy fuck me. I mean, I could go on about this. Is not. Maybe we'll do a Superman recap because I could go deep into. Lex Luthor spent $80 billion giving it to the Bavarians. Do you remember the fight at the very end when like they had no budget left, so they spent one tank, they had one troop carrier, and like one, like, I don't know what else they had, and then they went over the fence, and it was like. The other side was just a whole bunch of diverse fucking people, right? It was diversity en masse. Like, and the Bavarians, or whatever it's kind of like Bavaria, like, whatever the fuck they were. It was like a B movie. Really, James? Really, James? This is your version of one country attacking another country? You didn't have to show it. You could have just did like, look, there's maybe we'll have a Superman recap. That could be a good Saturday night. Yeah, it's Saturday night Pop Rages Live. It could be. That's a moment I'm very proud of. Why? Us as fans forcing Warner Brothers to give us what we actually wanted, and they all fell hard. Fuck yeah, Ben. Fuck yeah. I think the forces, when Zaslav came in, like, he canceled Batgirl, he knew how bad stuff was, but the whole management of it, the Snyderverse was not bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like I still watch the Snyderverse once in a while. I do. I fucking love Ben Affleck as Batman. I do. I love Ben Affleck as Batman. That's absolutely fair. I don't always agree with both Gary or Jeremy, but you're correct. They know their shit. They do know their shit. Me and Gary are big Trekkies and Tolkien fans. What? Yeah, well, totally. Look, I'm 58, right? I'm older than Gary's he's a young little guy compared to me. Okay, I think I got 4 years on him. Tolkien, yeah, I think Gary knows more than Tolkien than I do, because as a writer, when you're a writer, you don't get to read as much because you are locked in a room for hours and days and weeks writing. So when you're a writer, you don't read as much. Not even close. Gary is you know what? He adds comedy. He adds, and his detractors don't get it. Gary is self-deprecating, but he's not dumb. He'll say he's dumb, but he's not dumb. And he fucking knows he's not dumb. One thing I disagree on. He thinks Star Trek v Star Wars. He thinks Star Trek would win. I think Star Wars would win, even though I am a Trekkie. I'm a bigger Trekkie fan than Star Wars. I do believe the power of Star Wars because Star Trek is the protagonist, Star Wars Empire is the antagonist. So you don't get that same description. And the Force is the main thing that they focus on, not the technology, not everything that these ships are built out of, not yada, 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 right? I'd like to argue Beekler on that one. Me and Jeremy align more of pushing woke messaging in our franchises. Yeah, I think Jeremy's a big Trump guy, isn't he? I mean, I'm 68% Trump or something like that. I like the fact that there's people out there and people's voices get traction. Because it needs a focal point. I think without some of these people like Gary, Nerdrotic, having a way to take a voice and really focus, it's like a laser beam, right? You take all these voices, you take 1 million voices, and you funnel it through, and you create a laser beam that has impact because of real, raw, emotional fortitude, the way that you love this stuff. Star Trek goes far beyond just loving a franchise. For me, it is the love of the universe. It is the love of science fact as much as it is science fiction. It is a state of mind. It is a psychological way of accepting science fact with the extension of science fiction and everything else that could be all this stuff, right? Getting rid of that woke trash in our friend. Look, yeah, as I'm a screenwriter. If you Google my name, Danny Alex and screenwriter, you'll see I've won hundreds of awards. I've written a lot of stuff, and I know from a writing perspective, when you introduce artificial subject matter into a genuine, I couldn't do it. I've been asked that they will purchase my screenplays if they want to put this in, or it was always a gay relationship. It was always, I'm not going to do it. I will not bastardize. I will rather take all my screenplays and I'll own them instead of getting, so yes, I know all about it from a screenwriting perspective and how it destroys the TV show, the script, or the screenplay. Mike, Star Trek would win. Oh shit, we could have we might have to have some Crown and wine over that one. All the Starship has to do is no. I got a photon or quantum torpedo onto the Starship bridge, and that's that. No. So how many? Here's the thing. Go back to the very first episode of Star Trek. The only episode they did that was the stupid Janeway when they transported the torpedo onto the board. Not once did they ever, when they were faced in a situation of high tension combat, ever did Captain Kirk or Picard, and I use those two because that's all I care about, did they ever say, number one, put a torpedo on the transporter. Oh, we're going to... Wait a second. I sound like those two Canadian guys on South Park. Number one, put a torpedo in the transporter room and we'll beep it over there. They never did. They never talked about it once. It can't happen. It's not that easy. It's just not. I don't think it's possible. Otherwise, it would have always been an option. Captain, Spock. What should we do, Spock? I need a plan, Spock. What I suggest is we take a torpedo and we just transport it onto the bridge of the Klingon ship. Spock, that's a great idea. Scotty, get a torpedo. It never happened, not once. If it never happened, not once, except the Janeway, they can't do it. It can't be done. That's my argument for that. If it was, why didn't Kirk do it once? Scotty, we need a way "Ooh, Captain, what we can do is take get the torpedo, we'll put it on the transporter, and we'll transport it onto Khan's deck." Scotty, that's a great idea. How fast can you get it done? I'll get it done in 2 minutes, sir. Never happened. It's fun. It'd be fun. It'd be fun going, like, sitting down on the couch, just, you know, talking about this shit, right? Trump 85%. I was 85%. As a small business owner, he is wiping out small business. He is wiping the fuck out of small business. What he's doing with tariffs. Let me explain this, Mike. When he does with tariffs, the only people that suffer are the small businesses. And then he goes to China, and then he does a deal with BAE, right? The big fucking company. Buy $30 billion from BAE, and then we'll reduce. So basically, you use small business as the wedge, but as long as you buy from the big fucking company, now we're putting small businesses out of business. But that's okay, because BAE just got $30 billion in. That's what he is doing, Mike. That's what he is doing. I know the emotional, but from a business standpoint, he is just fucking small business, and he's just a wealth transfer to the big boys. Holy shit, guys. Was 100%, yeah, okay, yeah, you're dropped too. So you dropped too. It's hard to stay 100%. It depends. Star Trek is more, this is Ben. More from the introspectives, the philosophical types of people. Star Wars is more sci-fi mythology. Yes, you're hitting on something. In terms of who wins Star Trek, not even close. The problem is here from a screenwriting perspective, the Federation is always the protagonist. And when you're the protagonist, you always get deep inside to what they're thinking. The Empire is the antagonist. So they never talk technology. So the Empire hyperspace, the big ships with the big ass hyperspace, they can get across the galaxy in 2 days. In 2 days. Now, this is all based on some writer, right? Do one of these things, right? I can make some super duper Death Star that is indestructible, that has shields, that can take 50,000 hits, and that can fire 50 different, right? It's all screenwriting, right? But hyperspace, the Galactic Empire controlled their hulls were reinforced. So they had, just like Battlestar Galactica. The great thing about Battlestar Galactica, their hulls were like freaking thick metal. And that is the same thing with the main destroyers of Star Wars. The hulls of Star Trek were very, very thin, like, because they were mostly diplomatic ships, science ships, hospitals. They weren't military primary. You take something like the Darth Vader's main fucking 12-mile ship. The firepower, these mother freaking. So what they did was the writing of, because they're the antagonist and the Force was the main thing. They didn't go into the deep technology of Star Wars. But when you get into the ion cannons, the 24 million degree laser cannons, and these Star Destroyers had like 60 of each, batteries, TIE fighters, the Star Wars Death Star had 10,000 TIE fighters. You're going to tell me, well, the TIE fighters don't do much. Oh, they do. They cause chaos. Their energy beams, which are in the millions of degrees, they take impact on the shields. It is mass fucking chaos. It's the same thing with Battlestar Galactica, with the Cylon ships and the Battlestar Galactica. It is two different ideologies. It's impossible to say one will beat the other. It's impossible. It only becomes a fun, friendly conversation, right? That's what it becomes. But I'm a Trekkie. Guys, I'm a Trekkie. I just don't think Star Wars with this fucking firepower. Like the real firepower of Star Wars. The full-on gambit of those motherfuckers. They did a ton of times in Stargate Atlantis. I haven't watched Atlantis. I gotta watch Atlantis a little bit. I've watched a little bit, but also I know it's not part of the lore, but always been something I asked myself why they never did, like the Borg. I'm doing a video on the Empire v Borg. I'm also doing a video. It's going to be out next week. Cylons v Borg. Who would win between the Cylons and the Borg? It's taken me 10 days because I've had to do so much research. These are hard questions. And you gotta take your personal, it's gotta be objective, right? Not subject. You gotta take your personal feelings aside. And it becomes hard because you're like, oh fuck, I just love Star Trek so much more than Star Wars. And I think, oh my God. Well, it's something they should make happen because it's absolutely possible in Star Trek Legacy, hopefully. If it's everything goes, then well, but Q is not he's not part of the Federation, right? So we don't want to take when I did Star Wars versus Star Trek, I didn't take the Force, I didn't take the Sith, I didn't take teleporters, I didn't take the droids. Look, Star Wars droids, they got armies of droids. You can just imagine if they sent these armies of droids onto Earth. What absolute fucking mayhem these droid armies would create. So Q wasn't a part of it. But I know what you mean. The Borg would have a feast against the Empire, Starfleet, Klingons, Romulans. But again, they're not. Look, Kardashians. I don't think Kim Kardashian's going to help. Just kidding. Just Gimme cakes, Kardashians, I know, DS9, and a Jem'Hadar, but those aren't the Federation, right? I don't think it would matter. I don't bring them all in. The Empire would fucking wipe them. I don't know if you're taking, because one is a galactic empire and one is a regional empire. When you can move your ships 10 times, 180 times faster than, I forgot what my calculations were. The Empire could move their ships way fast. They could move entire fleets so much faster in hyperspace compared to warp drives. When you are moving thousands of destroyers, all of those, I forgot all the names of those 40-mile long ships and these freaking other behemoths of military destruction. Let's move like 6,000 destroyers. Oh, we've got 400 starships. Fine. Well, let's move 8,000 destroyers and 60,000 TIE fighters. Let's move a Death Star over there. When you can move stuff so much faster than your enemy. I know what you mean, Ben. I know what you mean. I got you. The Borg would, yeah. We got that. Yeah. Star Trek is talking this. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. True. This is why I love DS9, because it made the Federation more complex. It did. You know what Gene Roddenberry would have said? Gene Roddenberry. With things like root beer doctrine at Section 31. I hear Section 31 and all I remember is Michelle Yeoh and 14 months ago. That's all I remember. The Federation was simply utilizing software perfect. The Federation is... I think if they had an extra 1,000 years of technology and growth, they'd probably eventually they would usurp Star Wars. The Galactic Empire. One of the parts in my video that I made is a starship captain. There's no commander that would. A starship captain could probably take 2 or 3 destroyers by himself. Starship captains are so well trained, so disciplined, that the very fact of what is a starship captain makes a difference. Although we never get to see the commanders of the destroyers because we always see Darth Vader. We're only it always sends us to the Force. So we never get to see the operational aptitude of the destroyers. It's just never shown to us. We can't assume it's bad, but the Force takes up the consumption because they are the antagonist, right? So we are shown the protagonist, and because the protagonist, they have to face odds that are much worse than, the protagonist must look at just amazing people because what I hate about Star Wars is the stormtroopers look like fucking idiots every time. I want to see a Star Wars where the stormtroopers look like what they should. Elite soldiers. Where you see 10 stormtroopers show up, you're like, holy shit. Oh, fuck. Those are stormtroopers, motherfucker. They're just not cannon fodder like the last 50 years of Star Wars. Those are If I wrote a Star Wars, I tell you, man, those troopers, you think they don't go through training? They're just so dumb, right? They just walk in. It makes me sick. It really makes me sick. I don't know about you guys. Oh, come on. What? Dude, Borg all day long? Oh, yeah. Grab a crown, buddy. Sit down. Grab a crown. Cylons have nothing on the Borg. Oh, well, okay. Cylons have they got some technology. Now, I don't have a channel, but I do a lot of reviews for historical-based films. I'm a huge historian. I love history, bro. I mean, that was when I was in university. That was like history and philosophy and English were my three main ones. Antiquity, I love. When it comes to, I'm a firm believer that our modern Western culture. Thank God for Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great. The Hellenistic period, right? Oh, I got no one. Alexander the Great was basically the start of modern civilization, Western civilization as we know it. His death created the Hellenistic Empire, right? Which was the foundation for Rome. Greek civilization was the Romans just were able to, like the Greeks could never, like it was always city-states, right? Alexander the Great for a while. When he went to, what was it, what was that city that went against him? And he basically enslaved all the nobles, destroyed the city, enslaved all the nobles. No other city rose up after that. It was like, fuck, it worked. But when he took over the world, God, could you imagine? Like the movie Alexander the Great with what's his name? Yeah, he played Penguin, right? You know what I'm talking about. Oliver Stone. I think Oliver Stone, right? I recommend that movie. I do. I think it has aged so well. And that first fight, when Alexander the Great takes his hoplites and all the soldiers in for the first fight, and he does the first speech, and he takes them all across Asia. It's a well done movie. It really is. What's the actor's name? You don't want to act. It's bugging me now. Colin Farrell. Thank you very much. Colin Farrell. Ray Keewan versus the Sith. I don't know if you can, but look, the Q is basically God, right? Like, I mean, that's if you're doing a video, you got to keep that stuff out because it turns. You can't, like, there's no point to do it, right? Well, Q's on the Federation. I don't think Q was on the Federation side. If you're going to bring Q in, Q might very well be on Star Wars side. Like, that's the thing. You didn't know which way this fucker was going to go. So just because Q is in Star Trek, sometimes he was like an antagonistic protagonist or a protagonistic antagonist. He may well just chosen Star Wars for the fuck of it. It's like, yeah, I like that guy's black helmet. What's your name? Anakin? I like you. You're cool. Yeah. Who knows? It's Q. He's unpredictable. The Borg wouldn't even stop for a typical Cylon ship other than to assimilate their FDL tech, maybe. But other than that, the Cylons are fleas in comparison. So I thought so as well. I did a lot of research, a lot of on the advanced. Look, if you go to Battlestar Galactica fans, they will argue with you. Big time. What's a Cylon going to fire at a Borg cube? A nuke, which is as powerful as your typical 24th century photon torpedo, set to level 16. Well, they got a lot more than that. They have a lot more than that. A lot more. Section 31 was awesome in DS9. The concept of it was awesome. To come out of DS9, even though Roddenberry didn't approve of Space Station. Oh, he hated Space Station, right? He hated it. But their concept is very rad. Not Michelle Yeoh's version. Oh man, that was so bad, right? That was so bad. Ben. Now I don't have a channel, but I do a lot of film reviews myself. My personal sect of films I review is history. Oh wait, I redid that, right? Did I go back and forth? Early American history. So films like The Patriot, Lincoln, Tombstone. Oh, Tombstone. Tombstone is one of the best fucking movies ever. One of the best as a screenwriter. I'm telling you, that is one of the best movies. When people ask me, what is a great movie opening? John Wick. First 5 minutes is all show, don't tell. All show, no tell. Tombstone is... They start, just like the Terminator, they start with the bad guys. And it's a screenwriting idea that if you're going to start with the antagonist, you start with them really bad, right? And they show up, yo, killed 2 cowboys. We have instant reason to hate these guys. And Michael Biehn, remember, he kind of didn't seem like a bad guy until he stops and turns around and he shoots the preacher between the eyes. And then he recites the Bible verse. And then we realize right there, and then we see the cowboy. Then we go to the protagonist, guys, and this is classic. Look, Kurt Russell, he was the ghost director on this. When Kurt Russell, we see the cowboy boots and the old train, and then the camera going up, the mustache. We get the visual. Nothing needs to be said because Kurt Russell is fucking Wyatt Earp. And then it goes to scene change. It goes to the horse, and that guy whips it twice, right? The horse. And then you see, grabs the thing, and then he smacks the guy and hurt, don't it? Now let go of that stud and be on your way. Whenever a protagonist defends an animal, we by instinct love that person. And that was, and they were Virgil, the family comes, the whole thing. It is such a every scene in that movie, guys, every scene escalates to the end. Do I need to say anything about Doc Holliday? Oh my God, guys. If you like, that to me is therapeutic movies. Tombstone. There's nothing bad about Tombstone. The female actresses are fucking amazing. All of them. The sheriff, what's his name? Sheriff Behan. Oh, like Stephen Lang as Ike Clanton. Come on. Oh, everyone this weekend, watch Tombstone. What did I? Oh yeah, Apollo 13. Fuck, I love Apollo 13, and so on. I study early American history. I do more beyond that historical, going like in medieval days and then back into Rome, antiquity, Egypt. Q would cause the Star Wars Star Trek crossover just to see what happens for his pleasure. Yeah, but he's godlike, right? So you can't really, it becomes like there's an entire problem when you introduce a character like that in screenwriting. because there's no rules, right? Every world needs to have a rule. Q has no rules. He's God. He is whatever he like. He makes wishes happen. I got. So you can't include a guy like Q. It is just it's a story prop introduced for a specific reason, not because of his power. It's because of it's more of a symbol of his ideology or whatnot. And I know what you're saying. In terms of coming up historical films, I personally can't wait to see him review A Great Awakening, the American story of George Whitefield and his friendship with Benjamin Franklin. I did not know that there was a movie coming out with that. No, theaters, Netflix, where is that coming out? I don't even know. And Patrick Stewart recently was quoted on on always wanting to see an ST and SW crossover movie come out. Look, you're gonna have to get David Ellison. Look, Bob Iger, the weatherman is gone, guys. The fucking weatherman is gone. Gone. Bye-bye. Isn't it funny how Iger and Kennedy leave in the same month, the same quarter, all at the same time? Favreau was out after Mandalorian and Grogu. He's out of. Favreau was not like he's not the problem. Iger and Kennedy. Look, Bob Iger never. All he did was buy shit. Even with all my years working on Wall Street, everyone knew Bob Iger was an overinflated egomaniac. He was not great at anything. Look at the way he's leaving the company. Thank you very much. And anyone who says he was a good CEO, fuck you. You do not know what you're talking about. Look at the balance sheet. Look at the balance sheet of Disney. Look at the declining revenues across everything. I mean, what's his answer? Oh, we'll build cruise ships. Oh. For me, Tombstone, Lincoln was fabulous. Daniel, anything. The rule is anything Daniel Day-Lewis, anything Daniel Day. Look, Gangs of New York. I could watch Gangs of New York over and over and over. If for anything, Daniel Day-Lewis, right? Oh. And the Patriot, Mel Gibson, yeah. My top 3 historical films. Tombstone and Lincoln, I would agree. Historical, look, I think you could throw in Gangs in New York. It was historically, it was fairly accurate, right? Bill the Butcher Cuddy, the 5 points, right? I mean that they're in a totally different way, right? It's not macro; it's New York specific. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. He gave us some treats. Yeah, you should check out the trailer real quick. The film releases in theaters this Easter. Really? A Great Awakening, right? Let me punch that up. I don't have a X-ray girl, right? That's right. I don't have an X-ray girl to help me with this shit. Where are we? A Great Awakening video. Oh, okay, there we go. Let me. Oh, okay. This looks really good. Okay, so let me. Okay, no. Take this. Why have I? You know what? This has really come under the radar. Stop screen. Oops. Okay, let me do this. Share screen. Share. Let me take that off. Well, you do this to yourself, then. I'm telling you. Well, you have to do this all yourself. Oh, hold on. Hold up. turn the light this on. I'm going to do it like this. There we go. Okay. So this is a Great Awakening official trailer. Great Awakening hero joined the 250 years in the making of the story. Comes to life in the movie theaters nationwide beginning April 3rd. Very little press on this baby. Let's make lemonade.
Arise, O sleeper! Awaken!
Benjamin Franklin, your brother said he could use your help.
I will say there have not been enough movies. Why there have not been epic movies about George Washington, Franklin, all of these great men? Why have there not been epic? Why has there not been an epic about George Washington's life? Like a big ass $250 million movie about George Washington. One of the greatest men that ever lived in the history of the world, right? He could have been dictator. No, he didn't. He didn't take it, right? George Washington could have been dictator. He had, they gave it to him. They said, take it, be dictator, please. No, I'm done. I did what I planned to do. George Washington is one of the greatest men. He's up there with Alexander the Great. Different times.
At his print shop. You have my blessing.
Gonna do good things, Pa. Great things.
From the oceans through the valley.
George Whitfield, you will be an extraordinary preacher.
Remember the source of your power.
You know, the visuals are pretty strong. I like the visuals. The visuals are strong. It's a period piece, and it feels like they've been able to capture the essence of the period, right? It feels authentic.
You don't believe the stories from London are true?
I am doubting Whitfield's claim that he can be heard and understood by so many. Without evidence, I won't believe it.
Let us proclaim freedom to the captives! Whom the sun sets free is free indeed!
Have you ever heard a voice like that? The blast from heaven.
And I think, it feels right. It feels strong. The great thing about a movie like this is you can incorporate so much emotional content, right? And most Americans should understand it. They should understand the context. They should understand the emotional frenzy. It should invoke an emotional frenzy. If someone does not feel that emotional frenzy, then you probably shouldn't be an American. As someone who is an American Canadian on both sides, I feel the ferocity of the emotions that the founders had. And there's not enough good movies about the founders. I don't know if there's any good movies about the founders. Like a really good period piece.
Benjamin Franklin.
Reverend Whitfield, partnering with me would guarantee the maximum benefit to your cause.
A match made in heaven.
Or just a deal made in a print shop.
General George Washington.
Today, we stand in an even darker valley.
The survival of this country must be our chief concern.
This Constitution cannot fail. We cannot let the sun set on this nation.
You are lighting a powder keg, my friend.
When you follow him, you are led by love.
I mean, this is a pretty big responsibility, right? When you're going to do a movie like this is a pretty big responsibility. You got to get these characters right. Emotionally right.
Why can't I get through to you?
I choose evidence over faith. Stop trying to change me.
You have promoted the greatest awakening these colonies have ever seen.
And I will say that the founders of the American Constitution were some of the greatest thinkers, that ever came together in one place. In one place. They all came together in one place. They didn't all agree, but they agreed on enough things that come up with a constitution. That's the amazing thing, right? They didn't agree on everything. Easter, great time. Right.
You are the lightning bolt, George. I am just the lightning rod. And who is the source, Ben?
Let them receive your gift of salvation.
One tiny candle illuminates 1,000.
Arise, O sleeper! Awaken!
I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, like, you know, it's always tough to know from a trailer. Easter weekend, A Great Awakening. I guess we probably got to do one of these. Lincoln was an amazing movie. Lincoln was an amazing movie. I saw it twice. It deserves a third. Anything Daniel Day-Lewis. Look at Daniel Day-Lewis. That was good. I mean, we'll see what it's always so hard for them. It looks like they captured some of the emotionality. I think it's something. It is. I think what some great American filmmakers need to do. They need to take that entire time of the foundation of what these great people who came together, these minds that created the arguably not perfect, but quite possibly one of the best. Maybe there's some ways to tweak the congressional, the Senate, the presidential, and also the Supreme Court powers. Maybe that, like, there's probably some ways. I would like to see the division of the DOJ from the, if you could vote for the Department of Justice separate from the presidency, it will be separation of powers even more so. I've always said the DOJ needs to be able to act independently from the presidency. And it's got to be bipartisan. Non-partisan? Bipartisan? Where are we? I don't even know where we are. Check out, okay, that's where we are. Yeah. I agree. The Patriot wasn't as accurate, but the tone for the period, yeah, tone was good. The raw personal character drive in the Patriot was spot on, in my view. Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to watch this George Washington. It looks like it's going to be an epic. It looks pretty good. I don't know why I have heard of it, but I didn't hear of it like it's in my zeitgeist front and center, right? For me, the closest we got to a George Washington film was the John Adams series. We have had no great George Washington film that has, like, a Lincoln, right? Okay, what's Daniel Day-Lewis doing? Does Daniel Day-Lewis want to play George Washington? He won't. Your wish is granted. Now look up the Young Washington made by... I've heard of that. I don't know. That's not... let me... I'm about to go to work, but I'm glad I subbed. Hey, Ben, it's great to have you here, man. We'll see you soon. Come by anytime. Anytime. Cheers, Ben. Have a great evening. If you're going to work, have a great work evening. Cheers, bro. Cheers. Young Washington. Oh yeah. Okay, I have seen this. Let me. Before we part ways on the evening, let me I'm gonna this looks interesting. This is young Washington. Let's take a look at young Washington. I don't know if you guys are watching this on the after recording, and I'm talking about young Washington, but there's a blank screen for like 2-3 seconds, and that means it got copyrighted and I had to delete it. Okay, so that's the way that works. It's just the way it works. You don't know these trailers, like they want publicity from the trailers, but every time you go and you put it on, you talk about it, they copyright you for your entire video. So basically you have to go and delete it. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, you see it's not on there. I didn't do it properly. There we go. Let me take that off. So this is Young Washington from Angel Studios, in theaters July 3rd.
What happened, Washington? All those bullet holes in your jacket.
Oh, wow. You know what? I love the scenery. Very well done. From a production standpoint, which I've been involved with a few productions, very good looking scenes.
How are you alive?
Authentic.
I don't know. You have no...
A lot of times it's the yellows and oranges. If you take a look, you got to keep the primary colors out and you subdue. So when you take the contrast in editing, and look, colorizing a movie is so fucking important. You want to take the levels down of the contrast out, and so that it becomes bland. So you have a nice bland red, not a deep rich red, or just if you look at this guy, like it's like a deep bluey green, almost no color. And that lack of color gives us that feeling, that authenticity given the time period.
No military service. And it's just around the bend. You are a boy. You are not British, yet they send you to speak for them. So that when you fail...
Great lighting. This is impressive. This is impressive. It makes you think, when you see a movie that is authentic in its historical presentation, it makes you feel like, what would it be like to live in those times?
They'll have someone to blame.
Young Washington, you lost in the New World.
Who does own this land, if not the one who has the will to tame it? You do not want to start a war. What do we do? We fight!
It's interesting. It's interesting with the. I'm quite well versed in this time. Even the indigenous Indians, they like to make it sound like they were just all, like smoking peace pipes and just fun shits and giggles in the prairies, hunting buffalo, and they would massacre each other. Right, the wars between Aboriginal tribes. They would enslave each other. They would massacre each other. It was freaking ugly. Ugly. What the Incas did in South America was, they eradicated entire populations, the Incas. So did the Aztecs. So did the Mayans. So did the Native Americans in North America. Fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal for thousands of years. That's the way it was. They tend not to show that, though. But this is Young Washington.
Hold your ground! There is no retreat!
Perfect day to start, right? July 3rd? Perfect day.
What are you called?
My name is George Washington.
Look at the lighting on that face. You know what that tells me? That's a cinematographer that has the balls to use natural lighting instead of having these big freaking, cans. He's literally using shade and natural lighting. That takes you might not, if you've ever been in production, there's not many cinematographers that understand this stuff. It takes courage to do it, and conviction and understanding of your art as a cinematographer, as a director of photography.
Help us make this the #1 movie on America's 250th. Pre-order tickets at angel.com/250. Exclusively in theaters July 3rd.
Very impressed. Oop. That was impressive. That was really the lighting. Anyone, guys, if I go to like any of my friends, director friends, lighting friends, everybody will tell you, even my screenwriter friends, everyone knows it starts with lighting. Every great scene starts with lighting. Why is The Witcher shit? Look at any Witcher episode. All of the corners of the castle are lit up in a bright yellowy orange. Well, it's the candles. Fuck you, it is. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They did some great, just like Game of Thrones, some great castle lighting. Episode 6. Watch the whole series if you haven't watched Night of Nine Kingdoms, right? Okay, that's what you're. Okay, that's what you were talking about. Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, that was good. Was Kelsey Grammer there? Am I getting my guys mixed up? But when it comes to lighting, Game of Thrones, like castle lighting, right? You want to use natural lighting. So when I did my review of episode 6 of Night of in the Seven Kingdoms, I literally stopped on these 2 windows that had the light coming in, and then the silhouette of the characters of Dunk and Maker when they were talking. It was fucking brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. The lighting, guys, you need to pay attention to and if you take a look at The Witcher, where it is soap opera lighting, it is absolute shit garbage soap opera lighting. This movie, Young Washington, that was solid lighting technique at a very advanced level. So Young Washington, July 3rd. We're going to be hearing more about that. So, yep, from Cheers, he was in it. He's like, he loves that shit, right? Kelsey's a patriot, man. Right? He's a patriot. Serious patriot. I used to love Cheers. Cheers was good. Cheers was good movie. Cheers was good fun, man. Cheers was good fun. All right, guys, we're gonna call it an evening. This was my first I'm in the new studio. It's still not 100% set up. Mike, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you got a crown. I got to fill myself up with another half a glass of wine before I go to sleep. And Ben, we got a new sub, Ben Feister. And thank everybody for stopping in for Poprageous. This was episode 7. It's only the 7th episode of Poprageous live at Saturday night. My name is Danny Alex. Sadly done. Well, you could just drop a little bit more. You don't need to do a full one, just a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a little bit, just for almost like flavor. That's, I don't like drinking too much, but it's Saturday night. All right, Mike, you have a great evening. Everyone, thank you very much. My name is Danny Alex. You've just watched Poprageous live at Saturday night. We will see you on Tuesday. There's no Night of the Seven Kingdoms tomorrow. It's over. So I will see you Tuesday on the Tuesday Big Show, Poprageous live. Thank you, guys. Have a great Sunday. And I wish you peace and love. You're still there.
Yeah, baby! Are you not entertained?
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
You. Look at me.
Yes.
What's wrong with being sexy? I mean, there's no
Sex.
It's these go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder?